All right, this is yet another session. I'm here. This is part of a series of reflection about coding with agents. I so far call this culture coding with agents. Okay, now today, so it doesn't really matter what you're doing. It matters that as we do it, we can talk about the future now, coding with humans or agents and AI, etc. Okay. So I have a system that I created, and this is part of Wiplex Communications, a marketing assistant for professionals. And this is an internal tool for building articles. So, okay, articles with images and transformations and visual effects applied to images. So, in this session, I want, so there's something I can create new articles, okay? So, for instance, if I go back here, I just created three new articles at the top there, as you can see. Um, this visual effect is nice, right? You see, so there are three articles right there, and but they don't have the images, right? And I do have a system on the side to build the the graphic images for these articles, but but this new UI is new, okay? And you see the button on the right hand side. If I reload this page, you see the button there. That's new article, right? Now that's one thing, the interface. The other thing is that I want a secondary button service right there to actually what I'm saying right now in the video. It's something very important because it could be actually become the prompt, right? So let me do it by typing as well. So good, all good, all good. Moving on, right? Moving on. Let us work out a new bot service. You see that on the right hand side, I call bot services. A new bot service. Now for rendering the cover images for the articles in a given season. The concept of season here is like a category, collection of articles. Now this sort this follows the architecture we have here, and we will in a way port the the this function service from the bot slash articles article covers articles article covers. I will recap a bit of what I know of that service, but please check that directory to know more. It has, I'm checking the files, right? It has, I'm checking why the config matters. Site URL. It has that config with site URL, which I am not sure if that is needed anymore. Well, of course, calling the local host rendering service is important so that whole lib for API. There's something here, right? It's lib for rendering for the renderer API is quite good. As you see, this bot service now to become a sibling, right, to the new article. Is that new article? Yeah, to the to that new article may should here have its mod render covers. Mod covers. There will likely also have its own session subdir if needed, and also its panel HTML piece and JS like we did for like we did recently. Now back to the functionality. We will I wonder why it look it checks the season. Mm, yeah, back to it shall call the render service so that render endpoint and API can be at the top of some of its code. But how we do it? Well, what about we do this, do like what we did? We the panel can be called. Um, so what we're doing here is new art concession, right? Not render covers, and then we bring a we may need a initial a new endpoint for refreshing seasons from the DB season, right? DB seasons. With that, I should be able to pick a season. It brings the tasks as local session inputs, you will see that um, the current bots article covers article covers dash indexes has a crawl function, right? So crawl is good, needed. The render to and a new one for load seasons, which now can be done before sync crawl. Crawled on, we save the tasks. Now we can choose use the commit ID, okay. But here commit will come up with a rendering envelope plus, plus the other updates which you will find as part of the render of the HTML. Notice for now we are focusing in the render of the articles. So not needed to look at the season.js. Seasons.js. We will do it later. Now see that the render of the article is working already and index.js does pick something from the season image, etc. It also depends on the, oh yeah, I guess the config. It's not import indeed. So in the beginning I said that somewhere here, I said that the config is not needed, right? Config, config. Oh, it has a config site.rel, which I was not sure. Maybe more. Site.rel. Of course, color hoster is important. The whole leap from is quite good. Plus, it depends, as you see from the local host port and API. No need to check the aliveness of that for now. Yeah. Aliveness, aliveness. So it depends on the weather. So let us see how this goes. If too difficult or confusing, ask me. How you do most, right? Well, most of what you do will likely go to the article covers, I think. So I just changed the name. No, it's sorry, mod article covers. Mod article covers. I think I added the name somewhere. Wait, covers. I got mod covers. Mod article covers there. Right. Go. Now visual effects. Okay, another coffee. Okay. All right. So apologies for taking too long. Apparently the agent completed the work. I'm gonna pass the mouse over the these files to check if the changes are only into the places that I wanted. Okay. That gives me a little bit of confidence to open up the server again, and I can probably, I think, reload. And I do have two panels on the right hand side. Okay, right. Now, if I wanted to open an article, it failed, but to render covers, it didn't fail. Um, Something came up there. So just a note when tapping the new article button, it failed to load that existing panel. Let's check if it didn't write anything. Something with the meta editor registry. I just invented a new name here to imply that we need some organization like a registry. I hope it's something simple. Meanwhile, visual effects, production value. Soon in one other episode, we're gonna update that visual effect because what I really want is to zoom into the area that I just tapped. Thanks for catching that. When I split the module routers out of the meta host, I removed the host level express static call that forgot to. Well, that's the kind of narrative that humans are using, right? Equivalent create as a result, return 404. So the button could no longer auto fix it by mounting the error assets directly to the router. Session incoming. What is this session? I need to wonder about that. Maybe later, right? Let's for now. I'm anxious. New article. Yes, I can refresh panels, uh, render covers. The good old days of the web. Wow. Technology evangelism, OpenAI. Refresh seasons. Oh, I see. Sessions, seasons ready. Technology evangelism, OpenAI. Load tasks. Yes. To do. Render covers. Oh, yes, wait. To render covers, okay. It missed the commit structure, I guess. Oh, that's okay so far. Now, oh my, the more I move towards this thing, the more I fear the day the tool is going to remove my hard disk, erase everything. I will now git add bot services, git commit, fix to new services for updating sites, push. Now I know I probably need I need to enter Thought Services renderer. This is the renderer. Okay. The site on the left, the render in the middle, this thing here. Now, if I call render covers, okay, this is the site, render covers. Nope. Oh, rendering covers. Whoa, something happening. Of course, we don't yet have, yeah, it's calling things here. It's calling things there because we had code there, right? So it's amazing that it doesn't mess up with existing things. This is really nice, right? Render completed. Now here, yes, I have my renderings. Effect time, production value. Oh, by the way, right? This is a video and a reflection, and it's going to be published recursively inside this. So I want to take a print all of this. Ah, so it's the print here. Okay. So if I go back to new article, this one, sometimes I get confused, right? It's too many screens and recording areas. This session is about the render cover session. So it's this is episode 80, culture coding with agents reflecting about in a browsing node. It's updating updating a system to a rendering. What's the name of this session? Rendering images for articles. And this open letter and this in this session, right? This session. In this session, we reflect about coding with agents. I am updating a system and method for rendering the graphic images of articles. This is part of a serial reflection. This episode, oh yeah, wait, some duplicated things here, right? Smart Caesar reflection. So yes. Now you don't have. Do you? Do I need to update this? But I don't have the YouTube URL, so you don't have to see the article that I'm pushing out because the purpose of this session was about yes to show the rendering working. So I'll do that later. I can probably pause this. Thank you very much.